Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, I asked what this conversation was going to be about, and what I heard is prepare to assert your authority over your life. So, it sounds as though there is something that's going to be used as an invitation from your soul to try and, get the ball moving for you. I think for many of us, we've gone through the things that we need to go through. And now it's just time to begin applying what we've already learned. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So, are you someone who has, learned a lot in life and you've kind of, I don't know, been nervous about how to apply it, been nervous about, do you know how to apply it? Do you have what it takes? And, these are valid questions. Your soul is already communicating something with you. So these are valid questions. The question of, do I have what it takes? Am I understanding things, messages from soul accurately? I think you probably are. Well, most people who have really gone and done the introspective work, you probably are. For quite a few people, you're kind of in a space of doing that now, which is a good thing because that means you're ready to progress. I'm also being told that card that had singled itself out, the communication card. Everything that we're going to be talking about is direct communication from your soul today. Okay, direct. Okay. So there's foolery. There is absolute foolery happening. Attempts to kind of convince you of something that is a glamour. Do you guys know what glamours are? It's kind of like a magical spell that makes you see something in the way the spell caster wants you to see it, not in the actuality of how it is. Okay? So that's telling me there's something outside of you that is trying to convince you negative things. It's trying to create a lot of like dissatisfaction. It's trying to create a sense of like unhappiness. These are normal feelings as you're going through very accelerated, very advanced type of ascension. I don't know anyone. And remember, I've had over 13,000 clients at this point, just since 2017. Over 13,000 documented clients. That doesn't include the people who I didn't have an official paid for private session with, even extending beyond or before 2017. Okay. So I've worked with a lot of people. I have never met a single person who is in the middle of or has gone through this degree of potentiality when it comes to ascension mechanics that has felt happy, content, comfortable. That's just, yeah, that's not how ascension works. I know there are people who want to present you with a concept of ascension as something that you just meditate yourself into and meditate yourself through. That's not how it works. It's not. I will always be honest with you, regardless of how triggered you will become at me being honest. I will always be honest about these types of processes. So there's something that's trying to convince you that you're trapped and that if you simply escape if you simply like walk away from whatever it is that you think you need to walk away from, whether it's work, living circumstance, friendship, relationship, um, all those types of different circumstance, that you'll enter into a space, the grove, where you're just going to have so much fulfillment and so much happiness. Something is trying to derail you from the very process that takes you into the heart of your capacity to be happy. Ooh, damn. Mm-hmm. Can you say it with me? Sabotage. This is elevated attempts at sabotage. Elevated attempts to sabotage your process. Now, things can have whatever intentions they have, whatever malicious, malignant intentions to interfere with your journey, your path, all of those things. None of that matters. And you might be like, but how does it not matter? Well, because you're the final deciding factor in regards to how this will actually affect you. You can use it, this discomfort, because that's what ascension creates. Discomfort. You can use this period of discomfort to show you the areas where you are still needing a little bit of support, a little bit of growth, a little bit of more gentle guidance for yourself, right? These are the areas where you probably need to focus on. It probably has to do with childhood traumas for everyone, because really everything that you're going through, that you're struggling through right now as an adult, it stems all the way back to something that happened in your childhood, and that's just the reality of it. Okay, so let's see what else the cards have to say. Right off the bat, it's something that you need to be aware of where your emotions are, why you're feeling what you're feeling. And oh yeah, yep, uh-huh, this makes sense to me. So much, so much, so much, so much. This makes so much sense. So confidence, guardian, and autumn. Guardian and autumn is in reverse. So what is this telling me? That there's some efforts to make you feel as though you're uncomfortably vulnerable, that you are susceptible to attack and manipulation and all those things. But here's the thing. I mean, so long as you continue to avoid facing the reality of what you're dealing with, which is typically an internal thing, you will be vulnerable to those things. I mean, you just always will. Once you begin finding the courage to take a look at the actual root causation of the things that are making you reactive to your current life circumstance, you become less and less susceptible. Less and less susceptible. So I take my life, for example. I want to say it was last December. I was severely, it was an extreme parasitic attack. And no, it wasn't last December. It was, I think like 3 years ago. I think it was about 3 years ago. Like April time. For those of you who have been with me for some time, I lost my voice for like 2 months. And then I was doing what people thought was ASMR videos, but in reality, I just had no voice. I just kept right on working. It was that time. Michael usually serves as a guardian for me, and he usually protects me from like the worst of the worst. And in that circumstance, he was not around. Oh my God. I quite possibly, for the first time in my life, felt what it felt like, what it feels like if he is completely removed from my field. I'd never felt more alone, more susceptible, more vulnerable in my life. That, like, it came close to shutting me down. It was scary. It was something that was like, oof, but I found a way through. I found a way through it without his help, without reassurance that if my defenses falter, something outside of me that's powerful will protect me. I needed to learn I can handle things on my own, which I've always believed that, but emotionally, maybe I didn't. Maybe much of my belief was intellectual. You have two types of intelligence: emotional intelligence and intellectual intelligence. Intellectual intelligence always, always, always develops in advance of emotional intelligence. Why is that? Well, you need to have the intellectual maturity at the right level to be able to comprehend on an emotional level what you're going through. It's not an imbalance. That's how it's supposed to be. I mean, could you imagine going through something emotional, an extremely hard emotional thing, and not having the intellectual maturity and capacity to understand what that is trying to teach you? Oh my gosh, that's extremely, extremely difficult to overcome. And I think that's why a lot of people go through the things they go through and they never actually get through it. They allow themselves to stay suspended at the tail end of that difficulty. And then they just continue to loop over and over and over, cycle in, cycle out, cycle in, cycle out, and life seems to not change. So I went through that. I lost my voice. And you know what's funny? So for those of you who don't know, my sibling works with top tier professional athletes. I'm talking about pay-per-view events, millions of fans. So it was at that time, that April, several years back, a specific athlete was going through a really bad circumstance. And my brother was like, you need to talk to my sister. And so puts me on FaceTime with this person. I was getting better until that FaceTime. And then I lost my voice completely and my lungs. I probably had pneumonia. My lungs felt full of fluid. And the plant that was right beside me in my living room as I was on FaceTime with this individual, poor person, they were going through so much. It died within like an hour or so. It fucking died. My plant died. All the leaves turned yellow and fell off within a few hours. That's crazy, isn't it? So fast forward a few years. I'm in a very compromised physical state again. Same thing. Person having the same struggle. And this time, it's a strong insistence, like, you need to let my sister help you. And as luck would have it, I had that boundary. And unfortunately, before they were able to confirm details of me helping, virus-free guaranteed. I just got a notification. As luck would have it for the individual, within 24 hours of a communication coming through my official channels, Soul told me, remove parasitic extractions. I'm no longer allowed to do them. So I couldn't. I listened to Soul. I was physically ill. I got better. My ascension mechanics continued. There were still a few things that happened that didn't involve that individual anymore, but there were still attempts, parasitic attempts. There were still injuries that occurred because of parasitic attempts. And it was me closing out chapters from past life reverberations, all without Michael's help. And I was oblivious to the fact of whether he was present or not, because in the time from the first communication with that athlete until the second communication, a couple of years had passed. And it was a thing of, I'll get through whatever I need to get through. I've known that intellectually. Now, emotionally, I don't question that. I will get through everything life brings my way, whether it be physical, emotional, intellectual, financial, social, I don't know any other, whatever other potential ways, right? Even through grief. I had to circle back around to recognize that recently. You know, that grief was devastating. It was. That's the reality of it. It wasn't my grief that began that process. It was a dear friend's. Their grief reignited my own, and it presented me with an opportunity to properly begin the process of grieving my mother. There are things that we think we have successfully overcome. In reality, all we've done is cleared enough of the debris that we the next out. We just did what it takes to remain functional. You see, when my mom passed away years ago, I just kept right on working. I literally, I kept right on working. I convinced myself that I've just been busy and that's why I haven't talked to her. And I'm very good at compartmentalization. I'm very good at dissociation. I am very good at masking. And all people saw was me having an attitude problem and being snarky and telling people off. They had no idea the root of what was happening deep inside. Were you guys there for the fire ceremony recently? It was on the 21st, like 3 days ago. Were you guys there? Because if you were there, most people had no idea. I had herniated 2 of my discs right before the event started. And I simply just sat and tried to keep my pelvis as still as possible. And I was in extreme pain the entire time. That's why it was so efficient. Did you know how much pain I was in? Could you tell? Have you ever herniated a disc? Have you ever had nerve pain, neuralgia, sciatica? Have extremely high pain threshold. I gave birth to my children completely unmedicated. And I would say the pain for birth, including the tear, would be like a 6 out of 10, 10 being the worst. 10 being the worst. It's a 6 out of 10. And I have an adverse reaction to local anesthetics. So I have to be stitched with no anesthetics. And I rank that as a 6 out of 10. Fire ceremony, I was at a 9 out of 10. I almost couldn't make it to my bedroom, which I went to immediately after the fire ceremony was done. And that includes full nervous system sedation that I was running while I was working on everyone. Why am I sharing this with you guys? So you can feel sorry for me? I don't want that. There was no way I was going to let you guys down and reschedule anything. I was asked if I couldn't take the pain anymore, would I have just stopped the live stream and be like, I have to reschedule? And I said, no. I said, no. You know why? Do you know why? I respect you. I have a very firm grasp as to what people do to be able to afford the services that I offer. In order for you to invest in yourself for that one event, you took from somewhere else that needed those funds. And there was no way in hell I was going to disappoint you. But here's the thing, circling back to what I'm actually talking about, I can remain functional through pain because I know how to sedate my pain receptors. And I went to the gym the next day. Yeah, I was still injured. I'm still injured. I'm still injured. I just got home from the gym. Why? Why do I do this? Because I don't care about myself? No, because I've come to realize there's times when pain is necessary and you have to work through it, and times when I avoid my pain and I use work to do it. And nothing of what I've experienced in the last several months has anything to do with avoiding. I'm facing everything head on. But not that long ago in my history, I would sedate pain so I wouldn't have to face it. And life has a way of circling these cycles back around. What, to punish you? No. To see how much work you've actually done and the progression you've made in your development of your intellectual intelligence as well as emotional. Your soul is having you experience the things you need to experience in order to develop the confidence in yourself and your capacity. You can handle everything life sends your way. You have authority over yourself. It doesn't mean ignore the pain. It means you have to be able to discern when the pain is inviting you to rise above your fear of what will happen, or when that pain is protecting you from harming yourself further. Pain is not just pain. It gives you messages. And if you're paying attention, your authority over yourself becomes something so powerful, so powerful. I knew, because of the way that re-injury happened right before the live stream. Literally, I was walking to my office and I paused for a second and the discs bulged out. That means I wasn't even moving. Why did that pain happen? To stop me from doing what I needed to do that night. Why? Because now we have several Jed awake. How many continents do we have in this world? How many continents? Is it 7 continents? I don't remember. Let me check. Seven. Yes, there's at least 7. Well, no, there's 7 continents. What I mean is there were at least 7 people who were prepared to awaken as Jed. All it takes is one to clear a continent. There's at least 7. So of course, they wouldn't want me to do those expedites. Of course, they wouldn't want me to be present. I don't care. Why don't I care? because that type of pain is inviting me to exercise authority over my physicality, my emotional state, my form, and my function. I'm very well versed in herniated disc. I've had issues with herniated discs for, I don't know, 25 years. I know as long as it's braced because of where the disc bulge is, as long as that is braced, nice and snug, it won't re-injure. It won't get worse. I have to move slow, and I have to be careful of the angle of my pelvic tilt. I'm extremely aware of my body. How aware are you of the process that you're in? Because the body gives you kind of like a map in regards to what needs to happen, what your needs are. How aware are you? Is this something that you've allowed yourself time to cultivate, the relationship between the self and the soul? Because if you give yourself time, that authority you have over yourself goes all the way deep, deep, deep down to your core. I have authority over myself. I'm completely autonomous. I'm completely autonomous. What does that mean? Well, when I need to exercise authority over myself and my fear is debilitating, I have the ability to dissociate from that emotional trigger called fear, because I'm already aware of what the fear is trying to communicate. So I can suspend that easily, 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 easily. And I remain functional. I remain true to form, and I get things done. You have to understand the way your process works. First and foremost, what you need to develop is your awareness of your authority over yourself. Because look, something's trying really, 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 really bad. They're trying to trigger an upside down cycle using your earlier life traumas to try and kill a connection that you have. It's a connection with a self, or it's a connection with another soul. This is an important connection. This is a very important connection. So they're going to continue to try until Hallows Eve. Till Hallows Eve. Y'all need to be careful with jumping to any type of conclusions. Okay. You have to be careful. Pause, slow down, allow yourself to recognize there's a lot of stuff that's been released out into creation since Sunday. Yeah, I didn't want to scare you guys. There's a lot of stuff, and things are escalating. It's okay. You want to elevate, you need to escalate. If things are escalating, that means you're elevating. But if you're going to allow your perception to still be at the ground level, then I don't know. Michael, what are you doing here? He says, yes, you do know. Ew. I do. If you're going to allow things to remain at ground level, then you'll never ascend. Because you don't deserve it? No. Because you're incapable? No. Because you're choosing to stay in the same place. That's a choice. And what ends up happening when you make that choice is your soul will start to initiate circumstance and experiences that make you so uncomfortable that you have no other option but to choose and do anything you possibly can to exit out of that space you've become so comfortable being uncomfortable in. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Something's going to try and make you pissed off so that you don't call to you the very connections that you have an oath with. This isn't a, Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. Just, this is an attack on twins. This is an attack on twins. It has to do with the Great Deception. Yeah. So for some of you, you don't realize your actual twin flame is maybe a relative, maybe it's a best friend, maybe it's an acquaintance that you're interacting with them once in a great while. Maybe, and this is very, very rare, maybe it's the person you're in a relationship with. Whoever this is, whatever this is, they're triggering the absolute fucking shit out of you. Why? To bring your attention to the spaces within you and the traumas that are currently existing inside you that need your attention now, because it's those traumas that are going to be used as a gaping entryway for parasitic infiltration. Last night, as I was sleeping, no, I was awake. For some reason, I woke up like at 1 a.m. and I stayed up for a couple hours, not knowing what to do with myself. So I was doom scrolling. I was doom scrolling on TikTok looking for extraction videos, not parasitic extraction, but blackhead extraction. I looked for earwax extraction. I just, it's my Zen zone. Medical procedures are my Zen zone. I wonder if they have surgical procedures on TikTok. Is that allowed for educational purposes? Anyways, I was doom scrolling and then something I could feel a hand, rather large hand, gently grip the lower portion of my leg, my right leg, which was on the outside side of the bed. And of course, the room was dark. All the lights were turned off. And then I had my phone right by my face. And so I was blinded by my phone. I was like, nothing's there. And then I saw this like humanoid beside the bed hold my hand and smile at me, at which point I immediately turned my phone and there was nothing there. And I was like, motherfucker. Don't fucking touch me. And then I went right back to doom scrolling. I'm just saying there's something afoot at this point. There's something afoot. And it's trying to find entry based on what you fear the most. What do I fear? Oh, I've been fucked up all of 2025. I mean, I haven't been able to work pretty much all of 2025. I don't know. I mean, what do I need to be afraid of? Whatever fucked up circumstance, find a way through. Until you touch my lower leg, whatever. Whatever. And some people might be like, how come it was able to get into your house? They opened all the gates, including personal portals that allow entry beyond perimeters that are established. They no longer need mirrors. Oh, you know what? There was a video. I did save it. I was going to share it with my sanctuary people. Let me find it. La, la, la. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to just airdrop this to me. TikTok, you won't be able to see this, okay? So Sorry for ya. Find me on YouTube right now. You'll be able to see it. Hold on.
So I'm home alone, right?
Okay. This girl's home alone. And I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I saw this video. Crack me up. Hold on. All right. Here goes.
So I'm home alone, right? I'm sitting here watching TV. And I'm like, I'm going back to my room. Once again, I just got done doing laundry at my sister's. So I'm about to go put everything up. Home alone with my dogs. And I think it's back.
Yeah. Did you guys see it? Crack me up. It cracked me up. I saw it and it's like, how fucking rude. They didn't even bother helping you do laundry. They're just going to sit there and take up space, not even like, hey, do you need some help folding anything? Yeah. So all entry points are open. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Before she even panned to the TV, I already sensed, like, while it was still on her face, the video, I was like, there's something beside you. And then she pans over and you see it. I'm just like, so fucking rude. Didn't even ask if you need help with laundry. So, okay. Something wants you to forget that you have the capacity to fight for yourself. Warrior and remembrance, and they're both in reverse. It's up to you. If you want to project and blame or convince yourself it's something in your environment, it's an opportunity or a lack of an opportunity, or, whatever it is, then you're going to get stuck in that reverberation. However, if you choose to be like, okay, why is this triggering me? Like, what is it inside me that's getting triggered right now by this? That's a very powerful thing. That's a very powerful opportunity. So in early 2000s, for about 10 years, I struggled severely with herniated discs in my lower lumbar. Severe. I had degenerated disc disease. I had worn out my meniscus in both my knees. I was struggling through what my treating physicians called the worst case of fibromyalgia they had ever seen. I literally was in the doctor's office maybe 2-3 times per week, trying to figure out what's happening. Am I dying? Like, just craziness. And that was difficult. That was difficult because I have all these kids, and my husband was a Silicon Valley contractor. He's computer stuff. Because you're a contractor, if you don't go to work, you don't get paid. They get paid good, but you don't go to work, you don't get paid. So I had no babysitters. I had no support. I was caring for toddlers, severely injured. Severely injured. So the injuries that I'm dealing with now, they take me back to that space of, yeah, like I was severely clinically depressed. I'm not doing that again, I tell you that much. Because none of that did anything for me. I exercise minimal minimal authority over myself during that period. So now, up until like 3-4 months ago when shit really hit the fan, I'll work out through pain using proper form. I'm capable of perfect form. I'll be very aware of the way I move through it, what I can and cannot do. But I'll work through that pain. Why? Because I command my body. And I simply have to know how to interpret what the pain is telling me. So when you're experiencing that emotional pain, is it telling you that you've never allowed yourself to grieve this portion of your learning, this portion of your sense of loss? Or is that emotional pain about your realization of how much you've allowed yourself to betray yourself because of the preferences of people who didn't care enough to see how their preferences were destroying you? And I don't think the things you guys are going through really is about the right now. Yes, it's happening right now, but I think this is all stuff from so far in your past, and you don't want to remember it. You don't want yourself to have to relive it. But in this moment, if you avoid what it is that you're supposed to process because of what you've experienced in your past, I promise you, you will relive it amplified and compounded. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Face what you need to face. Look inside yourself. Allow yourself to see and feel the appropriate emotions in regards to what you've experienced in your history as a person, in this life, in previous lives. Just allow it. Allow it. Allow yourself to finally start actually healing. When you do, you enter into a space of stability. You begin to stabilize. Someone asked me recently, because with the exception of yesterday, I've been to the gym every single day for the last week. And no, I'm not lifting ridiculously heavy. I'm doing all body weight. I'm strictly using TRX bands, and it's challenging, but it's rehabbing all my atrophied muscles rather quickly. So I like it. It hurts, but I like it. And someone asked me the other day, like, how do you feel this morning? And I said, I feel injured, but I know it's progressing because although I feel injured, I don't feel catastrophically injured. That's some fucked up shit. If I allow myself to think about it, that's some fucked up shit. Oh my God. But it's progress, and I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for being able to have improved enough in 1 week that I simply feel injured, not catastrophically so. You have to be able to receive the validation from soul. Yeah, maybe I'm not where I need to be yet, but I'm getting there. I'm making progress. If you can't receive the ways in which you're progressing because your mind is so far flung into a future event that you can't even be present in the right now, I don't know how that's going to work for you. You're going to keep feeling some type of negative way about yourself. Here's the reality of it. I'm in pain right now. It'll be fine. I'm in pain right now. I still have to finish off a session after this. That's fine. I might be laid out on the floor. I'm gonna have to tell the client. Hey girl, so I might be on the floor. I'm here though. I'm here for you. Here's the reality. I'm in pain right now. My pain is, I'd say like a 4. That's manageable. I just sit up higher. I have to sit up higher. So I look at it. It was just last week that my iliopsoas wouldn't release and my organs felt squished. It's like getting punched in the gut and you're like your breath is knocked out of you, but it not releasing for 2 months. Yeah, like permanent flex of your belly. Like I know, I laugh about it because what do you want me to do? Cry? I've cried a how many live streams already? I'm fucking over crying. I am. This shit is just, it is what it is. But see, here's the thing. I know I'm progressing because I don't have that anymore. I don't have that feeling like my organs are dying. So, what type of feeling do I have? Empowerment through pain is a feeling that I have. Ah, empowerment through pain is what I feel. Some people might say you're just a masochist. I would say you're probably right. You're probably right. I am. But at least my masochism adds to my authority over myself and my autonomy over my life. Because no matter what, I'm not going to stop what it is that I'm doing. And what am I doing? Whatever my soul tells me to do. That's the bottom line. I'll do it through pain. I'll do it through tears. I'll do whatever I'm told to do by my soul and no one else. And if you think someone else is going to tell me what to do in that way, I don't fucking think so. I don't think so. Because if I can operate under that degree of pain, I don't give a shit what you do. If people think you can hurt my feelings, you have no idea what I've lived through. You don't. You have no idea how much my earlier life has prepared me for what I'm supposed to do now. I have full autonomy. I don't have a need for other people to validate me, for other people to see my worth in order for me to feel worthy of existing. You need to exercise that depth of authority over yourself. You just do. And if it's a thing where you need life to feel more comfortable, you need to be reassured, you need to be given signs and reach milestones at timeframes that someone else told you should be at already. Man, that's a really hard existence. That existence is far worse, much more painful than what I've lived through personally. Why? Because everything you do will never be enough. It will never be enough. I'm that stereotypical Asian child who got straight A's. And when the report card came, it wasn't a celebration. It was like, how come it's not an A plus? Well, because they don't give A plus. I'm that child, that Asian child that excels at anything and everything I do, and it's not enough. There's never any validation. You know, I took classes at UC Berkeley. My relatives don't know this. My mother knows. I took classes at UC Berkeley. I was, I believe, taking physics, I think chemistry, and what was the third class? Is it anatomy? I was taking 3 classes. I don't remember what it was. And they were accelerated classes, accelerated distance courses at UC Berkeley. And I was getting 4.0 because I had made a deal with my mom. I'll go back to school and I'll take it seriously and I'll get that medical degree, but I'm not going to incur debt over it. You want me to have that medical degree so badly, you pay that medical school bill, I'll do it. I was getting a 4.0 at UC Berkeley. And, the conversation that we had, apparently my toxic sibling had told her that it wasn't worth the investment, that I was wasting her money. Do you know how many people get a 4.0 at UC Berkeley? Is UC Berkeley a bullshit school? Is it a bullshit school? I don't know. Because like one of my kids is taking a distance course at UC Berkeley right now. And no, they're doing it concurrently with their grade school homework. Okay. And I was just telling my child, who is a minor, a lot of people, that's their number one pick school. That's a hard school to get into. Yeah. If I live my life based on other people's validation of me, I would have died a long time ago. No one's ever given me permission to exist. No one's ever given me permission to value myself. As a matter of fact, all I've received my entire life, up until probably recently when I no longer feel the need to have it, is the opposite. That I'm a pain in the ass, that I'm always the drama, I'm the problem. I don't know how to just shut up, because I don't. I don't know how to just shut up. So don't engage me if you're going to be fucking toxic, because I'm going to call you out on your shit. If you don't like it, don't engage me. Don't play with me. Talk shit about me behind my back, not in front of me. Because if I see that, if I hear it, I will confront you. And I won't back down. I don't care how many people you get to gang up on me. That's the story of my life. That's why when these people, when these people think that, oh, they have like hundreds of thousands of followers, they're going to get everyone to gang up on me. Bitch, please. That's my comfort zone. You're not going to cyberbully me. That's my comfort zone. Yeah. I don't need someone else to tell me that I have the right to exist. By virtue of my existence, I know that I do. I know that I do. I know that I do. So sometimes you'll come across people who have good intentions and, they love you, but they'll never give you permission to exceed what they were capable of doing. So, not to throw my mother under the bus, she did the best that she possibly could, and she loved me so wholeheartedly. I just wish I realized it when I was younger. But I remember the conversation that we had where I finally just told her, don't ever talk to me about not having a college degree, because if you do, I will wild out. Don't ever bring this up again. She had said to me, I don't know why you need to be a doctor. You can just be a nurse, or better yet, just be a medical assistant. And that's not a bad profession, okay? Just be a medical assistant. It's a lot cheaper. Why would you tell me to be something like a medical assistant if we both know I have the capacity not just to be a doctor, but a triple board certified neurosurgeon, cardiothoracic surgeon, and ERMD? Why would you tell me that? And I asked her that. I asked her that because, again, I have a mouth on me. And I said, are you pissed off because you think I'm trying to outdo your RNBSN? And she was upset with me. And that's fine because I was upset with her. And I told her, don't ever again bring up anything about how I'm wasting my intelligence and I'm just using my family as an excuse to not finish my degree because I'm lazy. And that was the last time we ever had any conversation about me finishing school. And see, you guys can see it as like, oh my God, that was such a lost opportunity. That was so fucked up. She needed to this, she needed to that. No, she was the mother I needed. I was never meant to be a doctor because I have the capacity to excel beyond the limitations of what doctors must operate in based on their scope of practice and their licensing. I was never meant to be in the medical field. I was meant to learn and grow and be autonomous in every single aspect of my life. You know, I can do for you what doctors cannot. I can do for you what doctors cannot. I hold no licenses. Why? Because the licenses are the very things that restrict me to operate within my scope of practice. Meaning, if I only have a license in GI and what you need is cardiothoracic, I can't help you there. I'm not allowed to. I don't have a license in any of that. So what does that mean? That means I can heal every single fucking part of you with no hesitation. Every single part of you. Every single part. Sometimes your autonomy requires you to go against the grain of what people are telling you you need to do. So what do I tell my kids? I'm not going to force you to go to school, and I'm not going to force you not to. You tell me what your dream is, and if what your dream is, your dream career requires certification, licensing, baby, you have to go to school. You have to finish college in whatever that is. But if what you're doing does not require that, pursue it all the way. All the fucking way. Hold on. I'm going to ask one of my kids. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I got to ask him permission because it's for him to tell me whether I can or cannot. Okay. He said yes. My son is completely self-taught. He did his own program to become a sound engineer. He knows how to do that. He is a producer. Okay, you guys know all that. Here's what I want to tell you. He has no degree. In his field of expertise, he doesn't need one. Have you guys ever heard of Kanye West? Any of you? There's a musical artist. His name is Kanye West. You've heard of Kanye West, Nancy? I think sometimes he goes by Ye or Yeezy, right? He's been bumping my son's music hard. Quite a few tracks produced by my son is very heavily being considered by Mr. West. He has no degree. Think on that. Think on that. He's operating strictly on autonomy, heart, and natural skill. Yeah, I'm talking about Ye. Not joking. I'm not joking. He told me this, and I was like, "Ah, who can I share this with?" Months ago. He goes, "No, Mom." And I said, "Oh, okay." Yeah. And quite a few of the sounds that you guys are hearing on the radio, he's a creator of that. His artists, he's worked on quite a few different artists' albums. He showed me a picture because the artist was like, "Yo, our album is featured on Times Square." One of his other songs, one of his followers went ahead and sent him a video because they were playing it on repeat at the, I think it was a Balenciaga flagship store. I was like, "Oh my God, that's so cute." It is like, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Um, a while back, like maybe like 2 years ago, or whatever, he goes to a huge listening party over in LA, and he's very low key. He enters and everyone knows who he is. I was like, "Oh, that's so good." I'm such a proud mama. I am. He has autonomy over himself. He has autonomy. He is autonomous. He's still learning and growing and figuring life out. And I will not stand in the way of that. My validation is not going to be the reason he succeeds. He is going to succeed because he chooses to. And I tell him this: everything has to be your choice. It has to be your choice. I don't share his producer name or his music just because, I want to keep my public work separate from his public persona. Like, I want him to have his privacy. Yeah. But a lot of times when we have fire ceremonies and things like that, some of the music that you hear, the stuff that's like really, really touching, it moves you to tears, it makes you go astral. That's music created by him specifically for me and my events. He creates those for me. Yeah. So, and I don't ask him to do it for me as a favor. He is providing a service. I pay him for it. Yeah. So he has no BS degree, no associate's degree. I told him when he was younger, there's two pathways you can take. One with no degree, because you're connected to a lot of people already. And, he started at 13 years old. 13 years old, right? And I told him, you can pursue it because oftentimes it's who you know, and he's very personable. Or if you really need the reassurance of an official education, we'll support that as well. And sometimes it's the people that you meet in your college courses that later become the very people who will put you on the map. So he chose what he chose. And this was even years ago. He's like, "Oh, we got quite a few plays on some of the tracks." And he shows me. I did not realize how much he was already accomplishing at like 16 years old. It was a while back he showed me this. I think he was like 16, maybe 17. I don't remember anymore. Millions of plays per track. He didn't have us validating him as parents. It was just like, okay, just stay out of trouble. Don't get yourself into stupid bullshit. This is an industry. There's a lot of stupid bullshit. So don't get yourself into trouble. Don't get caught up in stuff. Be very exclusive, very elusive. When you come out to an industry event, people need to be like, oh shit, you're here. Okay. This is not about allowing everyone to access you. It's about allowing yourself to recognize your value. It's important that people understand the truth of your value. And you won't even know your value until you allow yourself to become autonomous. Just allow yourself to become autonomous, where you're not seeking external validation. You're not needing or depending on someone to tell you what to think, what to feel, which direction to go. It's nice to have a sounding board where you can say things out loud, think out loud, and have your environment be like, oh, these are my thoughts. What do you want? What do you want to do? Right? So the communication from soul is about exploring your choices and supporting those cosmic connections. Like I said earlier in this conversation, there was a lot of like a soul connection that's very important to you. It could be platonic, it could be romantic, it could be professional. I don't know. There's something that's trying to taint that. There's something that's trying to tremendously taint that. Why? Well, they want to cause separation there because that's something that's anchoring you. That is something that's serving almost as your compass, either through support or irritation. One of the most powerful things my husband has done for me is not just support me, is not just love me unconditionally through all my moods and shifting perception. He has served as an impetus for tremendous amounts of growth by irritating the fucking shit out of me. By making me so angry that I create conflict between us in order for me to see what I couldn't allow myself to see. It's crazy how much I've learned from him without him trying to teach me anything. And you know, one of the things that I used to do when I was much younger in our relationship was have this fictitious belief that I'm teaching him, I'm teaching him, I'm teaching him. He's taught me so much without ever claiming or trying to teach me. And I couldn't receive that until I reached a level of maturity where I could understand we are equally matched in such a different way. We are so different from each other, and it's our differences that are really driving my growth. Because I sat back one day and I thought about it. Why do I get so mad at him? Well, because he grew up in a very supportive family. He's very loved, very coddled. You know, I had to do everything for myself. That's not fucking fair. That's how I was seeing it before. That's not fucking fair. He should know this too. He should know this already. If I know this, he should know this. And it's like, here's the reality. You know where my frustration came from? An unrecognized jealousy that I felt he was more loved than I was as a kid. Because this guy, I swear to God, he could do something and get himself suspended from school and be in the wrong. And his mom will go to fucking war for him and be like, no, my son didn't do anything wrong. It did turn him into a brat, but we worked through that. We worked through that, right? We worked through that. Why? Because I was lucky enough to be able to see the importance of our connection. And it's perfect in the way that it is. It's perfect in the way that it is. So there will be soul connections for you guys where maybe they're being extra supportive right now, or maybe they're just really fucking irritating you. They're making you so mad. Pause. Pause. Autonomy is not about cutting everything and everyone off. Autonomy is about recognizing that sometimes you enter into these dark spaces with the very people who help to anchor you, so that you can better understand the way you shine. I think we're track of that. Our perspectives of what we should have done by now, what we are going to do, and yeah, and all of those things are really predetermined by other people because of what other people have said to us, how they've made us feel like, oh, I should have this, this, and this by now, and yada, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And, the reality is you'll only get the things that you deserve when you're finally at a level of maturity to allow yourself to receive them. It's not someone else stopping you. I started allowing myself to be publicly witnessed in 2017. I've been this way my entire life. There was no point of awakening for me. I've been this way my entire life. As a small child, I was what was considered as precocious. My little ass eyes would stare at people down to their core. I would understand the way they function, why they do what they do. I would know whether they were intentionally malignant or they were just misunderstood. And yet I never valued it. In fact, I was ashamed of it. You know how many people I could have helped from childhood, starting in childhood. I have distinct memories of being around second grade and my mother having, she was entering into hypertensive crisis. And I remember putting my hand on her and I knew. I just knew. It was hypertensive crisis. She was at high risk of having a stroke. And I knew. And I touched her. And I went ahead and I ran a vasodilation sequence through her system. It helped to normalize her blood pressure. I didn't know that's what I was doing then. But if you ask me to explain it now that I give myself permission to have autonomy, to exist with no apology in the way I was designed to exist, I tell you, I was doing that when I was in second grade. That because I did that, it staved off a stroke that eventually happened when I was around 18, 19. I was 19. Yeah. So from second grade to 19 years old, I was able to stave that off. How much of you are you hiding because your environment doesn't give you permission to be who you are? How much of the gift that you are you withholding from the very people who are waiting for you to allow yourself to be seen? You need to go through this transformation so that you can have some hope of what? Of allowing yourself to be who you are. Okay, I gotta get going, guys. I gotta go because shit's starting to hurt more. I forgot to put my brace on before I started. Okay, so all of the stuff that's in the deep, it's rising to the surface. You don't have to dive for the light is shining on you, but you don't have any faith in your process because something outside of you, it's external. It's trying to set all your connections on fire and isolate you. Look. And that is causing you to have some very fucked up internal conversations. Yeah, all of that. They're trying to get you upside down in the way you see yourself. Don't. Silent rebellion is powerful. All you have to do is not do what they want you to do. They want you to wild out, stay calm. They want you to be non-responsive, react. Do the opposite. Do the opposite. It's very simple. So reborn from shadow, your soul is asking you to go deep into a space where your power exists, It's going to change your entire life because you're going to be able to retrieve your awareness of certain skills that you've already cultivated through childhood. And then it's going to tap into your intuition, and it's going to draw to you the very souls that will help to accelerate this. The soul separation, whoever was pushed away is going to return. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Okay. Rebirth of magic and awakening in reverse. They don't want you to know your magic is returning. They don't want you to be aware of it. They don't want you to exist in a state of knowing. But you're going to change all of that. How are you going to change that? By no longer hiding. Ba-dum-bum. That's the message. That's the message. Simple, right? Simple. Do what needs to be done. Stop apologizing for being different. Stop apologizing for being a fucking gift. Just stop. Just do what needs to be done. And you know what needs to be done. But what if with this? But okay, you can still doubt yourself while you do it. You can still doubt yourself, talk shit to yourself, ignore your power and autonomy while you do the very thing you are so afraid of doing. Once you do that, the pathways open more and you're able to become even more confident in what it is that you are going to do. I think it was a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. It's when I first transitioned over to TikTok. And someone had come on the live stream and they needed some assistance. It was during a time where there was like a flash freeze or something like that. And medical professionals were not allowed or able to get to this person safely. And I did a scan on them. And I detected deep vein thrombosis without them telling me any of their symptoms. I detected that. And then they told me they have all the symptoms of deep vein thrombosis. At which point I was like, oh my fucking God, you're going to within the next 24 hours. Like, oh my God. So it was very uncomfortable for me. Like, very uncomfortable for me because the fear of what if I fuck up, because there were so many people on that live stream, and TikTok is a clusterfuck of a platform when you're live. The amount of people that try dark, malignant shit without entering into the live stream is, well, luckily for me, I have ADHD. I can focus on an unlimited number of things simultaneously. So I was afraid. Because if I fuck up, if even a fragment of this blood clot breaks off and is thrown somewhere in the body, that can be a pulmonary embolism, which is catastrophic, if not terminal. It could lead to a stroke, a heart attack. These are serious things. Very, very, very serious things. I was afraid. I was afraid of fucking up. I was afraid of unintentionally harming this person. But guess what? Do I allow my fear of a low percentage of failure to cause me to select a high probability of certain death? Is a large clot. Is a large clot. So my soul said, I have the green light to do this on a public live stream. So I did, and I dissolved it. No clots thrown. And as they promised, they went and got checked once the weather was safe enough to travel to the hospital. And there was no evidence of a blood clot, despite all the symptoms. They couldn't find a blood clot. Successfully cleared. Sometimes your fear is not rooted in anything but a doubt in yourself. It's not rooted in any type of evidence from previous failure. You just doubt yourself so much and have such an unrealistic expectation that you use that as a justification to not even try. This is the period where you need to. Whatever you're afraid of, you can stay afraid, you can stay doubtful. Do it anyways while you're afraid and doubtful. And you do that, you're going to be given the evidence that you were capable the entire time. So I gotta go, guys. I hope this conversation has helped whoever it is that needs to be helped with gaining some type of clarity over yourself, over your life, right? It's not going to happen just today, unless, I mean, some people are developing their instant manifestation capacity. So, I mean, go ahead. Do it. Do it. It's like you don't understand how capable you are because you keep listening to people who are incapable of achieving what you can, and they're telling you you can't do it. You know, I didn't have anyone tell me until after the fact. I have a Pinterest account that I just like. I don't access it anymore, but back then I was accessing it and doing so much stuff with that little Pinterest thing. It was just like my little hobby. And I was speaking to someone who's a marketing, they're very well versed in marketing. And they were talking to me about the different platforms that I have. And I was like, oh, I have Pinterest. And they were like, well, okay, how many followers do you have there? How much traction does it have? I said, not much. It's only like 30,000. And she goes, only? And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's not a business account. I just, it's just stuff like sometimes I post things there. I have some boards and yeah, it's about like 30, I don't know, 32, 33,000. She goes, do you know how hard that is to do? And I was like, it's hard. She's like, yeah, you need to leverage that. And I was like, well, I don't know I don't know the password anymore. I don't know the password anymore. I don't remember what email I was using. And I was just like, opening the app. But when I switched my phone, it logged me out. So I don't know. I don't know. She's like, that's 30,000. That takes people years to do. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know. It was just something fun. Everything I've accomplished without someone telling me I'm capable of doing it. And I do it easily. Why? Because I don't have someone telling me that it's hard. So if that's what your environment is, people constantly telling you how hard and impossible something is, you're in the wrong environment. Maybe you need to do something solo. And that's where we'll leave this conversation. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I shall see you again. I'll probably see you in a few days. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. I love you guys. How are you doing, Brandy? How are you doing after that expedite? I'm super curious. And you don't have to answer publicly if you don't want to. Do you mind though if I share do you mind if I share what expedite I was talking about? I don't know if Brandy has a delay. You're okay with it? Okay, so I did a rapid detox for Brandy. That I have the capacity to rapidly clear the receptors of any type of chemical substances, because social media will restrict my account if I say any type of substances. I can strip the receptors remotely and cap them causing rapid detox to occur. Within about 30 minutes, you're detoxed. Even if this is something that you have struggled with for many, many years. So oftentimes the type of things that I would detox for clients are things that require close medical supervision, because as you detox from that, it will negatively impact, has a potential to negatively impact your vital signs. It can be very dangerous. I'm able to do it with minimal effect to the vitals. And Brandy says that she's better. I'm so glad you're better. I'm so, so glad you're better. So yeah, that was something I was afraid to do publicly as well. I'm kind of done being scared. It is what it is. And I do what I do. And whoever has a problem with it, they can keep having a problem with it. It's not going to be my problem, though. No more apologies, guys. No more apologies for existing in the way you were designed to exist. I was designed to exist as a quantum anomaly in a linear world. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. It's what I've been doing, and it's what I will continue to do with no apologies and no more hiding. So, welcome to my quantum anomaly existence. I love you guys.